back to the channel. Today we're going to unravel some incredibly complex events in Genoa. Rumors are circulating around the Newman family, but what's the truth? In this video, I'll summarize the plot points that will be revealed in the next episode. Stay tuned to see what happens. Welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into the scandalous and thrilling world of Genoa City. Today is a beautiful day to unravel the latest web of lies. So grab your favorite drink and let us explore the explosive drama heading your way. Young and the Restless spoilers. The glamorous atmosphere of the Genoa City Athletic Club is usually reserved for high-stakes corporate negotiations, whispered secrets among the elite, and the occasional blossoming of a new, scandalous romance. The crystal chandeliers cast a warm, inviting glow over the dining room, creating an illusion of safety and sophistication. It is within this opulent setting that Phyllis Summers finds herself seated across from Matt Clark, attempting to navigate the treacherous waters of a new alliance. Phyllis is a woman who has recently been pushed to the absolute brink. Having her corporate empire, Summers' conglomerate, viciously ripped from her grasp by Victor Newman and his ruthless artificial intelligence manipulation, has left her isolated, desperate, and searching for any available lifeline. She is a master manipulator in her own right, but the sheer weight of her recent losses, coupled with the looming threat of federal prison courtesy of Christine Blair Romolotti, has created a profound vulnerability within her. She needs a win, she needs an ally, and Matt Clark has presented himself as the perfect candidate. Matt Clark sits across the table, exuding a calculated, magnetic charm that completely belies the monstrous reality of his dark and violent past. He has invited Phyllis on this romantic date under the guise of two misunderstood outcasts, finding common ground in a city that constantly judges them. Matt is currently hiding behind the convenient, impenetrable shield of amnesia, claiming to have absolutely no memory of the horrific crimes he has committed against the residents of Genoa City. He plays the role of the tragic, reformed gentleman to perfection, pouring wine and offering Phyllis a sympathetic ear regarding her endless battles with the Newman family. For a fleeting moment, Phyllis allows herself to be swept up in the illusion. She is exhausted from fighting alone, and the prospect of having a dangerous, capable man in her corner is undeniably intoxicating. She looks at Matt and sees potential leverage, a weapon she can sharpen and point directly at Victor Newman's heart. But is Matt Clark truly suffering from memory loss, or is this romantic evening merely the opening move in a sinister, long-con revenge plot designed to systematically dismantle Phyllis Summers from the inside out? The delicate, romantic facade is violently shattered by the sudden, uninvited arrival of Noah Newman. Noah has been carrying an unimaginable burden of trauma and rage for months. He has been forced to watch his family suffer unspeakable horrors, acting as a pillar of strength for his mother, Sharon, and desperately trying to hold his girlfriend, Sienna Bacall, together after her own terrifying encounters with the Vegas underworld. But the deepest wound Noah carries is the agonizing reality of his father's suffering. Nick Newman's descent into a catastrophic, life-threatening fentanyl addiction has fundamentally altered the Newman family dynamic, leaving scars that may never fully heal. When Noah steps into the dining room of the Genoa City Athletic Club and scans the crowd, his blood instantly runs cold. His eyes lock onto the table where Matt Clark is casually sipping wine and laughing with Phyllis. The sheer audacity of the scene, the man who tortured his father enjoying a luxurious date, ignites a primal, uncontrollable fury deep within Noah's soul. Noah does not hesitate for a single second. He ignores the hushed whispers of the surrounding patrons and the polite decorum expected at the GCAC. He marches across the dining room floor with a terrifying, singular focus, his footsteps echoing with the promise of absolute vengeance. He reaches their table, his physical presence looming over the couple like a dark, impending storm cloud. The romantic tension between Matt and Phyllis evaporates instantly, replaced by a suffocating, electrifying tension. Noah slams his hands onto the pristine white tablecloth, leaning in close, so that his voice, trembling with a potent mixture of raw fury and profound sorrow, cannot be ignored. He completely bypasses any social pleasantries and launches into a blistering, public verbal assault designed to completely annihilate the charming illusion Matt has carefully constructed. If Noah Newman is willing to cause such a massive public scene at the GCAC, what other explosive, closely guarded secrets is he prepared to expose to the entire city to ensure Matt Clark is finally destroyed? Noah forces Phyllis to look directly at the horrifying reality of the man sitting across from her. He refuses to allow Matt to hide behind his supposed amnesia. With a voice that cuts through the ambient noise of the restaurant, Noah explicitly and loudly details the brutal kidnapping of his father, Nick Newman. He paints a vivid, terrifying picture of Nick being held captive in a dark, filthy storage room in Las Vegas, stripped of his dignity and subjected to unimaginable psychological and physical torture at the hands of the very man Phyllis is currently sharing an appetizer with. Noah spares no gruesome detail, ensuring that Phyllis understands the exact nature of the predator she is entertaining. He describes the sheer terror his family endured, the agonizing uncertainty of not knowing if Nick would ever return home alive, and the sadistic pleasure Matt took in orchestrating their collective nightmare. But Noah does not stop at the kidnapping. He escalates the confrontation by revealing the most devastating and destructive secret of all, Matt Clark's direct, calculated role in orchestrating Nick Newman's catastrophic drug addiction. Noah exposes the absolute depths of Matt's depravity, detailing how Matt intentionally and maliciously supplied Nick with laced packets of fentanyl. He explains to a horrified Phyllis that Matt did not just want to hold Nick hostage, he wanted to completely destroy Nick's mind, body, and soul. Noah's words are like physical blows, laying out the undeniable fact that Matt purposefully drove the Newman heir into a desperate, life-threatening spiral of chemical dependency, a battle that Nick is still agonizingly fighting every single day in rehab. Noah makes it abundantly clear that the man sitting across from Phyllis is not a misunderstood victim of circumstance, but a cold-blooded, calculating architect of human suffering. Could the revelation of Matt's involvement in Nick's fentanyl addiction be the exact catalyst Phyllis needs to realize that she is not manipulating a pawn, but rather dining with a lethal predator who could easily make her his next victim? Phyllis is absolutely stunned into silence. The color rapidly drains from her face as the sheer magnitude and brutality of Noah's accusations wash over her. She is a woman who prides herself on knowing everything about everyone in Genoa City, but the specific, gruesome details of the fentanyl poisoning and the psychological torture leave her deeply horrified. She knew Matt had a troubled, violent past. She had even considered using that darkness to her advantage, but hearing the reality spoken aloud, witnessing the raw, unadulterated pain in Noah Newman's eyes, shatters her emotional defenses. The horrific image of Nick Newman, a man she once loved with a burning passion and the father of her daughter Summer, writhing in the agonizing grip of fentanyl withdrawal, flashes vividly through her mind. Noah makes sure every single word lands with maximum impact, intentionally humiliating Matt in front of the entire Genoa City elite to ensure there is nowhere left for him to hide. Noah publicly challenges Phyllis's judgment, questioning how a woman as fiercely intelligent and fiercely protective of her own family could ever entertain the idea of romance with a certified, dangerous psychopath. He publicly mocks Matt's convenient amnesia, loudly suggesting to the entire restaurant that the memory loss is nothing more than a calculated, sinister facade. Noah argues that Matt is intentionally playing the fool, using the amnesia as a strategic shield to manipulate new victims, evade the justice system, and position himself for another devastating strike against the Newman family. He paints Matt not as a reformed man seeking a path to redemption, but as a dormant, highly intelligent predator who is simply waiting for the perfect moment to unleash hell on earth once again. As the reality of Noah's accusations settles over the table, Matt Clark finds himself backed into a dangerous corner. He desperately attempts to salvage the situation and maintain his carefully constructed narrative. He adopts the persona of a wounded, deeply misunderstood victim, his eyes widening with feigned innocence and confusion. He tries to downplay Noah's blistering accusations, speaking in a soft, placating tone as he utilizes his supposed amnesia as an impenetrable defense mechanism. Matt looks directly at Phyllis, softly pleading with her to believe that he has absolutely no memory of the monstrous acts Noah is describing. He argues passionately that he is a completely different man now, a blank slate who only wants to build a positive, peaceful future, free from the violence of his past. If Matt Clark is truly capable of faking a massive neurological condition, like amnesia, to escape accountability, what other terrifying sociopathic lengths will he go to in order to silence Noah Newman and keep Phyllis Summers under his absolute control? Matt's voice is smooth and persuasive as he attempts to gaslight Noah and manipulate Phyllis into feeling a sense of sympathy and protective instinct toward him. He reaches across the pristine table, attempting to gently take Phyllis's hand in a show of solidarity, but the romantic illusion has been irrevocably and violently shattered. The air between them is now thick, poisoned with deep suspicion, paranoia, and creeping dread. Phyllis physically recoils from his touch, her survival instincts honed by decades of brutal corporate and personal warfare screaming at her to run as fast as she can. She looks at Matt, desperately searching his eyes for any flicker of the sadistic, calculating predator that Noah has just described in such horrifying detail. The internal battle within Phyllis Summers is intense and agonizing. A part of her still desperately wants to believe that she can control Matt, that she can harness his undeniable darkness and weaponize it against Victor Newman to reclaim her stolen empire. But Noah's intervention has successfully and permanently pierced her armor of denial. She begins to deeply, profoundly doubt Matt's true nature, wondering if the charming, attentive man sitting before her is merely a sophisticated mask hiding a cold-blooded killer. The romantic evening has completely devolved into a high-stakes psychological nightmare. Recognizing that the situation is about to escalate into physical violence, Phyllis is forced to step in. She raises her voice, commanding the attention of both men, desperately trying to de-escalate the explosive tension before Noah decides to take justice into his own hands right there in the middle of the GCAC. Noah, realizing he has planted the necessary seeds of doubt, issues one final chilling warning to Phyllis Summers. He looks her dead in the eye and tells her that aligning herself with Matt Clark is a definitive death sentence. He warns her that making a pact with this particular devil will inevitably end in her own absolute destruction, and that when Matt finally turns his violent sights on her, the Newman family will not be there to save her. With that final ominous declaration, Noah turns on his heel and marches out of the dining room, leaving a wake of stunned silence behind him. The remaining patrons of the GCAC immediately begin whispering amongst themselves, the scandalous confrontation already spreading through the city's elite circles like wildfire. Phyllis sits frozen in her chair, her mind racing a mile a minute as she processes the catastrophic end to her evening. The date is completely ruined. The carefully curated romantic atmosphere